All right, so if you're using Google's Notebooklm, I'm going to bet you are barely scratching the surface of what it can do. Today, we're changing that. We're not just going to look at a few cool features. No, we're going to completely overhaul how you think about research and turn you from a casual user into an absolute pro.
And this quote right here, it absolutely nails the problem. Most people just treat Notebook LM like it's a slightly smarter search bar. Ask it a simple question and move on. That's kind of like using a supercomputer to check your email. You're missing out on all the real magic, the power that can totally revolutionize your work.
So what's the actual difference between an amateur and a pro? Well, this breaks it down perfectly. The amateur uses it as a chatbot. The pro? Well, the pro builds a personal intelligence system, a system that doesn't just answer your questions, but goes out and finds information, validates it, and even helps you create something new with it. Let's dive into exactly how you get to that pro level. Okay, first things first. Every great project starts with a solid foundation, right? For Notebooklm, that means getting the right information into the system in the first place. And, just as important, making sure you can trust it. This is the one step most people skip, and trust me, it makes all the difference. Here's a quick but super important tip. Stop dumping everything into one giant general research notebook. You need to create focused, topic-specific notebooks. Why? Because Notebooklm just works so much better when all the sources in a notebook are actually related. It might seem like a small thing, but it's a huge part of the professional workflow. Now let's talk sourcing. Amateurs, well, they spend hours digging through Google. Pros automate it. They use a feature called deep research. And look, this isn't just a simple search. It's more like an AI agent that works as your personal research assistant. It goes out, finds the sources, evaluates them, and brings back a full report. And the scale of this is just wild. We're talking about an agent that can track down around 50 relevant sources, boil them down into a summary, and then pull the best ones right into your notebook. Think about all the hours of tedious, manual searching that just vanishes. But, and this is a huge but, quantity is not quality. Look, Notebooklm is fantastic at avoiding hallucinations because it sticks to the sources you give it. But if those sources are outdated, biased, or just plain wrong, well, you're building your whole project on a shaky foundation. It's that classic saying, garbage in, garbage out. So pros use a system to validate everything. It's a simple 3-step framework. First, analyze your sources. Check the dates, the authors, see if it's real research or just an opinion piece. Second, find the foundational texts. Which sources get cited the most? And third, check for bias. Just ask the AI to summarize the main argument of your top sources. This gives you a bird's-eye view of your source quality. And here's what that can actually look like. You can have Notebooklm create a table just like this. In a single glance, you can see if your info is up to date, if you have a good mix of research types, or if maybe you're leaning a little too heavily on opinion pieces. This is your quality control checklist. Okay, our foundation is solid. We have good, validated sources. Now it's time to build on it with precision. This is where we fine-tune the tool to get exactly what we need out of it. It's kind of crazy, but most users never even touch the settings. That's like driving a Ferrari but keeping it stuck in first gear. A tiny tweak, like setting a custom conversational goal, can completely change the game. Tell it to act like a research analyst or maybe a skeptical critic, and just watch as the answers become way more insightful and targeted. Now for the other half of precision, filtering. And this right here, this is maybe the biggest amateur mistake of all, leaving every single source checked for every single question you ask. When you do that, you force the AI to give you vague, watered-down answers. I mean, just imagine asking a really specific, complex question with all of these sources turned on. It's like throwing a technical paper, an opinion piece, and a conference transcript into a blender. You're not going to get a perfect smoothie, you're just going to get a muddy, confusing mess. The AI tries to use everything at once, and you lose all the nuance. The pro move is all about surgical control. If you're asking a super technical question about, say, existential risk, you select only the technical papers. This forces Notebooklm to focus on your most credible, relevant sources. And the result? You get answers that are way sharper, more accurate, and totally free from all the extra noise. All right, so we've got a validated foundation and we've dialed in our controls with precision. Now we get to the really fun part, creation. This is where we turn all that raw information into something polished and professional. Look, Anyone can hit the generate button. That's the starting line, not the finish line. The real power is in directing the AI. Customize your instructions. Tell it the exact tone and focus you want. Choose different formats, like a debate to see two sides of an issue, or a critique to find weaknesses. And please never accept the first draft. Iterate, regenerate, and keep refining.
And we're not just talking about generating text here. The Studio panel has this whole suite of tools for creating all kinds of content. You can make infographics, slide decks, video overviews, detailed reports, all of it straight from your sources. For instance, instead of spending hours fighting with a design tool, you can just ask it to create a professional-looking infographic that maps out the key concepts in your research. This here is a simplified example, but you get the idea. It pulls the data, structures it, and gives you a clean visual. That's hours of manual work, done in seconds.
But it's not just about creating stuff to share with other people. Notebooklm has some seriously powerful tools to help you learn and organize your own ideas. You can make flashcards and quizzes to test yourself on the material, or even build mind maps to see how different ideas connect across all your files. So, let's bring this all home. The real shift here, the core of the pro workflow, is realizing you're not just using a tool, you're building a personal intelligence system. And there's one last really crucial piece to this puzzle that ties it all together. And here it is, the final pro strategy. Mix your source formats. Don't just stick to academic papers and PDFs. A real expert gets it. They layer in YouTube videos for easy-to-understand explanations. They add blog posts for what's happening right now in an industry. They'll even use podcast transcripts for more conversational insights. Each format gives you a different lens, creating a true 360-degree view of your topic. And that's it. The complete professional workflow, right here in 6 steps. You source, you validate, you configure, you filter, you generate, and you mix. This is the system. This is the repeatable process that takes you from amateur to pro. So the key takeaway is this. The real difference between an average user and an expert isn't just knowing that these features are there, it's having the discipline to actually follow the workflow every single time. Which really just leaves one final question for you to think about. Are you going to keep just chatting with your data? Or are you ready to start building a true intelligent system? The choice and all that power is yours.